at Dinosaur National Monument in Jensen, Utah. 140 million years ago, dinosaurs roamed this valley and flourished here. Now all that's left are fossils. They are bones embedded in the rock. This is the only place in the world where you can see dinosaur bones exactly as nature preserved them. Come on, let's take a look.
Hi, guys.
Hi, LeVar. How do you like it up here?
Pretty nice.
I'm Linda, one of the rangers, and this is Tobe, one of the paleontologists who actually uncovers the bones here.
This is amazing. What is this, a wall of dinosaur bones, huh?
Good description. This is one of the biggest dinosaur deposits in the world, in fact.
About how many bones do you think are in here?
Well, at last count, we're up over 2,100, I think.
You really do keep a count?
That's right. We number every one of them, identify it if we can, and keep a complete catalog of all the different kinds.
About how many dinosaurs do you think left their bones behind here?
Oh, probably a couple dozen of them. Sometimes it's just one bone from one animal. Sometimes it might be maybe half a skeleton or so. And there are about 10 different types of dinosaurs here. Everything from little ones right up to the great big ones like Brontosaurus.
Really? What's Toby doing up here?
Mostly just chipping away some of the rock from around the bones. He's not trying to get the bone clear out, but to uncover it and leave it in place in the rock so that he can tell what it is and so that people who come here can see it.
What kind of tools does he use?
Everything from large hammers and chisels, like the one he was using there, right down to ice picks for some of the really fine work, just scraping away the rock.
This one looks kind of like a big drumstick or something. What is this bone?
Well, that's pretty close. This would be part of the lower back leg, probably of Brontosaurus, just the same as this in us. And this right here is probably the thigh bone from the same animal.
How old are these bones?
Oh, about 140 million years.
140 million years.
Right.
Now, say you wanted to take one of these bones out of here. What would you do with it then?
Well, first Tobe would leave some of the rock around the bone to help protect it while he gets it loose. And then he would take it down into our laboratory and work on it in there in more detail. Would you like to go see?
I'd love to.
Let's go. This is the lab where we work on the bones that have come out of the cliff, especially some of the ones that we want to use for special exhibits or displays, like this fellow here.
Well, now, what's this weird-looking guy's name?
That's Allosaurus. It's one of the rarer types of dinosaurs found here. And here, for instance, is a copy of a skull of Allosaurus.
This isn't the real thing, then?
Not the real thing, just an exact copy.
Whoa, look at these teeth.
What would you guess it ate?
Well, meat probably. They're pretty sharp.
That's right. They're sharp-pointed and sharp on the edges, too. Since Allosaurus couldn't cook its Brontosaurus steaks, why, it had to be able to rip right through that tough meat.
Now, there are a lot of holes here. Which one was the eye?
This one was for the eye. You can see on the model there how it was right under this big ridge of bone.
Right. Was this like an eyebrow or something?
Kind of like that, probably.
Right.
And then here we have an arm of an Allosaurus, even though it was rather short compared to its body. Big claws here probably helped it grab onto whatever it was going to eat, and it would just hang on to that and then rip into it with its teeth and tear it to pieces.
It doesn't sound very appetizing to me.
Probably a messy eater.
What else have you got to show us?
Over here, Tobe is working on a skull of Allosaurus that came out of the rocks. Shall we take a look at that?
Sure.
Now, this is an Allosaurus skull that actually did come out of the wall, and you can see Tobe is just very carefully chipping away some of the rock from around the teeth. So it's very detailed work. You know, dinosaurs aren't the only fossils that we find here. There are also fossils of crocodiles and turtles, like this one.
Wow.
You can see that it looks just about like a shell from a modern turtle living nowadays. And these numbers are all the different pieces of the shell, all the plates that fit together. And we also have a very small turtle here, probably a young one, and it's just this tiny little shell, and it's so well preserved that we can even see all of these tiny little leg and foot and toe bones here on the underside of it.
Neat. But what I want to know is, how did all these dinosaur bones get here in the first place?
Well, it's a very interesting story. We think there was a large river flowing here, and as dinosaurs lived and died all around the river, sometimes when it overflowed, maybe after rainstorms, it would pick up some of their bones and bodies. Sometimes just a few scattered bones, maybe sometimes a whole big bloated body floating down the river. And they would get stranded here and there in the shallow places or where the river went around a curve and slowed down. And other dinosaurs might come along and pick apart some of the skeletons, picking the meat off them, scattering the bones around more, and then later floods would keep on, covering over the bones with more sand and mud until they were buried.
So that's how all these dinosaur bones got here. That's really interesting. Tell me, Linda, why are you leaving all the bones in the wall?
Well, this is really the only place in the world where you can see so many dinosaur bones right in the rock where they were found, right where the dinosaurs themselves used to live.
So even though we have all of these bones, we still don't know exactly what dinosaurs look like, do we?
That's right. You can only tell so much from the bones. You can see about how they fit together and how the muscles attached to them, maybe how they moved, but there are lots of details that we don't really know, like their skin. You know, what color was it? Were they blue or green, or maybe pink with purple polka dots?
I guess no one ever took a picture of one.
That's right.
Boy, it boggles the mind. Well, thanks a lot for showing me around.
I'm glad you could come.